Hello and welcome to Your Vote Counts, a public service program for the May 19 primary election that is being produced by Capital Community Media, a multimedia center that provides local content, education, and a platform for diverse community voices in the greater Salem area, and from the League of Women Voters, Marion, Polk counties, a nonpartisan political organization advocating for voting rights, government transparency, and a public election education. All candidates for the position of Ward 6 were invited, and we will be hearing from Vang in our interview. The candidates were asked to prepare a 2-minute opening statement telling about themselves, their qualifications, and why they chose to run for office. I am Karen Williams, your moderator from the League of Women Voters, and I would like to introduce candidate Vang to share their opening remarks.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you so much for inviting me here on this interview. I look forward to the questions. I do believe that local government is a very important part of our daily lives. It is small but mighty. And I moved to Salem for school, and I've chosen to make Salem my home ever since. And I am the daughter of refugee parents. I am a young person, and I am the only renter on council currently. And these lived experiences are so important to have on council when council and the city makes policy for growing Salem. But most importantly though, I believe that Ward 6 residents deserve an advocate from day one. And I have the experience and the knowledge to be that advocate that Ward 6 needs. And my record on council reflects that. So I look forward to the questions and ready to dive right in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing that information with us. The questions for our candidate today were developed in collaboration with AAUW and League members. Candidates did not receive questions ahead of this interview. The candidates' responses to individual questions will not be timed. Now let's give candidate Vang the opportunity to address questions of concern to our community. Okay. Question 1. What is in the works for Salem's infrastructure, and what are the priorities?
Oh, what a good question. So this infrastructure, traffic safety, that is actually what got me involved in my neighborhood association. I live on a busy street, and I live pretty close to 2 schools, and so I see children walking to and from and cars speeding by. So that was a concern I have. I went to my neighborhood association and have been involved in making sure our streets are safe, not only for pedestrians and cyclists, but also cars even. And I know that if my neighborhood has those same concerns, then I know the rest of Ward 6 has those same concerns. And right now, Salem is in the beginning stages, or re-looking and revisiting our 5-year transportation plan. And that is really where a city councilor, an advocate for traffic safety, can really make a difference in what the city prioritizes and what we put forward as projects that we want to make sure the community sees. In Ward 6, historically, we have been underserved in our infrastructure in terms of pedestrian calming measures and traffic safety. And during my time on council, I have really been advocating and working with our city staff to make sure that safety is a #1 priority. And I am really proud to say that we have been able to implement what we call leading pedestrian intervals all along Lancaster. And so if you don't know what leading pedestrian intervals are, it essentially gives pedestrians a 3-second head start to start walking along the crosswalk. And that makes them visible. That is a low-cost way to make sure that our pedestrians are safe. And I'm happy to have brought that into Ward 6. Thank you.
Okay. Number 2, many residents may not understand the duties of a council member. Why should they be interested in this race?
Like I said at the beginning of my introduction, local government is small but mighty. It really affects our everyday lives, and I truly believe that what City Council puts forth as policy impacts residents' lives every day. And this race is particularly important to the residents of Ward 6 because councilors are putting policy for our infrastructure, like we just talked about, and also our water, making sure that when you turn on the tap, the water is there. And also, what do we do about our trash? Where does that go? And those are everyday issues that really impact our quality of life here in Salem, and especially in Ward 6. And so those are just some of the reasons why this race is so important.
Okay. Several TEAM project areas have been developed to address areas of concern. Tell us which one interests you the most.
Several teams, TEAMS?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understand the question. So the 2 teams that I think are important for not only Ward 6 but the rest of Salem is our homeless service team and our clean team, and now actually a 3rd team, our reach team. And all of these 3 teams, they help us actively address the number one concern that pops up in Salem and in Ward 6, which is homelessness. And our homeless service team and our clean team have recently been expanded from 4 days a week to 7 days a week. And that is really important because the work that they do doesn't stop at 5 o'clock on Thursday. It continues through the weekend, and to be able to provide that 7-day coverage ensures that those issues and concerns are addressed day in and day out. And I'm really proud that our council have been able to implement a pilot program for our REACH team. And essentially the REACH team is to ensure that the right resources gets to the right person at the right place at the right time. And it's a way for the city to utilize our resources efficiently and effectively. And those are just some of the teams that I believe are important not only to Salem, but Ward 6 themselves. Thank you.
Okay. What economic pressures are exerted on Salem due to the presence of state government and Willamette University?
There are a lot of pressures that are outside the role of council. And so when council is thinking about economic development and how that impacts our residents, and especially in Ward 6, because Ward 6 has such a diverse economic range. We have mom and pop shops, we have national brands, and we have a whole swath of economic activity in Ward 6. And I'm really proud to have that and represent that in my ward. And I want to continue to make sure that that is able to be sustained and supported. And so as councilor, when I am looking at how do we encourage economic development and activity, I'm really mindful of what policies we put forward that burden or is asking of our residents and our businesses, because I want to ensure that our residents and our businesses understand that when we ask for something from them, that it is utilized in a way that improves our community, is transparent, and is accounted for. So those are just some of the things that I think about when I am in my role as counselor trying to put forward good policy.
Okay. Do you support the use of general funds to provide revenue guarantee for passenger air service at the airport? Why or why not?
I believe that if the conditions are right and that there is a commercial airline that wants to come to Salem, then I don't see why we would not take that opportunity, because We have had several reports that have indicated that commercial air has been a benefit to our community. However, if there is no commercial airline that is interested or wants to come to Salem, then I know that our community has other ideas about where we can spend our general dollars and what we can do to improve our community that way. Thank you.
Okay. Question 6. What do you know about the current tree preservation and tree canopy codes, and do you have comments about their effectiveness in maintaining and enhancing the benefits of trees to climate resilience and community safety?
Ooh, so I am not an arborist or a tree expert, so I am really going to rely on the experts and the scientists who breathe that in and out, day in, day out. But what I do know is that Ward 6 is a area where we have a lot of, I think they're called heat islands, because we don't have a lot of a tree canopy. And so for me, ensuring that we have tree canopy or we develop tree canopy in Ward 6 is important, because being able to address those heat islands is part of making Ward 6 livable and making Ward 6 a welcoming place for our community. So I know that it is a priority for me to make sure that when the opportunity arises, when the opportunity to advocate for more trees or improved tree canopy in Ward 6 comes about, I am there at that conversation at that table.
Okay. Number 7, do you support providing financial incentives to encourage more home building, and if so, under what conditions?
Ooh, that is also another complex question. I do think that the city and council have done a lot of good work in incentivizing and working with our developer community to bring as many affordable housing units online, and just housing in general, because we don't have enough housing at all income levels. And that is, I support that policy, and I want to continue to make sure that we work with our developers to ensure that housing units do come on board. The other part of the equation when it comes to housing and livability is keeping our residents in their houses and ensuring that they're able to have that stability, which is why I'm really proud to start the conversation of what does that actually look like in terms of policy? How do we ensure that our renting residents have that that breathing room to stay in their homes while we try to figure out how do we make ends meet long term? And so I really do think that it is a two-part answer to a very complicated question, and we've addressed part 1 really well and continuing to do good work, but the other part of the solution or the answer is just in the beginning stages, and I'm really excited to see where that conversation and where that goes. Thank you for the question. It's a very complicated one, but yes.
Okay, and question number 8. What makes Ward 6 stand out from the other wards?
I love Ward 6 because I think it is central to a lot of things. We are just a couple minutes from the Lancaster corridor, where we have a ton of shopping. We have a ton of shopping centers and activities and great food from all cultures. And I really love that about Ward 6. But also, we are pretty close to downtown, where we don't have to drive a whole lot to get to all of the great activities and events that are going on downtown. And so I really do think Ward 6 is in that sweet spot of being able to get to what you would like to do on your weekend or in your free time. In addition to that, I do love all of the parks that we have in Ward 6. We have McKay Park, which is a central community event hub for not only the high school, but also our neighborhood associations and community events. And I know that Weathers Park is well loved by the school children, and the playground gets utilized a lot. I also know that Ward 6 butts up against D Street Field, and it is a open field where everybody and anybody can come and just run and play soccer and frisbee and all of these great outdoors activity. And I love that Ward 6 is able to offer all of that to our residents, and I want to continue making sure that we're able to do that.
Now we invite candidate Yang to share their closing remarks and their public contact information.
Thank you, Karen. And thank you for the questions. They were some tough questions, but I have enjoyed my time here speaking on them and sharing what I think about these important issues. I am asking for the residents of Ward 6 to re-elect me to continue being their representative at City Council, because I truly believe that Ward 6 deserves an advocate who has the knowledge and the skills and the experience to start from day one. And I believe I am that advocate. And if residents of Ward 6 wants to learn more about me, what I believe are the issues, or just want to reach out to me or get involved, they are more than welcome to go to my website, electmyvang.com, ELECTMAIVANG. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for our interview today and sharing your thoughts. Thanks to Capital Community Media for their production and technology skills, to our community groups that provided questions and topics to you, the public, for watching this program in order to become an informed voter. You have until April 28th to register to vote or make changes in your registration. Watch for your ballot in your mailbox beginning on April 29th. Remember to vote and vote early before May 19th, especially if you are mailing in your ballot. For more local, state, and national voter election information on candidates and ballot measures, visit vote411.org after April 15, when data is posted. Elections matter. Remember to vote, because your vote counts.